Hello, in this video we're going to look at the distributive property using 3 different methods. We're going to start with some easy ones and work into some more challenging ones. Our first problem is 2 times the quantity x plus 6. X plus 6 is represented in algebra tiles below. Now we're going to double it. This allows us to visually see our answer. We have 2 x's, which is 2x, and 12 ones, so plus 12. The answer is 2x plus 12. We're going to use an array method now. Put the 2 in front and x plus 6 above it. Multiply to get 2x. Multiply to get 12. The answer is what's inside the array, 2x plus 12. Using the same problem, we're going to use arrows to multiply. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 6 is 12. We ended up with 2x plus 12, all 3 methods. We had algebra tiles, an array, and just using arrows. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. We're going to multiply 9 times x to get 9x, and 9 times 2 to get 18. So we have 9x plus 18. In this example, we have 4 times 5, the quantity 5x plus 1. 5x plus 1 is shown in algebra tiles. Now we're going to do 4 times that. This allows us to visually see our answer. We have 20x plus 4. We're going to use the same problem and the array method. Put the 4 that's in front of the parentheses in front of the array, and each of the terms above the array. Now multiply, we get 20x. Multiply again. That gives us 4. Our answer is inside the array, 20x plus 4. And let's use this problem one more time using arrows. 4 times 5x is going to give us 20x. And 4 times 1 gives us 4. Same answer, all 3 methods. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. 8 times 3x gives us 24x. 8 times 2 gives us 16. In this example, we have 2 times the quantity 8x minus 3y. 8x minus 3y is shown in the algebra tiles. The 3y is negative, so it is in red. Now we're going to double it. Count up all the x's to get 16x. Count up all the y's to get 6y. Because the y's are negative, we're going to write it as minus 6y. Using the same problem, we're going to put the 2 that's in front of the parentheses in front of the array, and 8x minus 3y above the array. Multiply to get 16x and negative 6y. Our answer is 16x minus 6y. One more time, we're going to use the arrows. 2 times 8x gives us a 16x. 2 times negative 3y gives us negative 6y. Same answer, 3 methods. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. 10 times 4x gives us 40x. 10 times negative 5y gives us negative 50y. In this next example, we can think of this negative in front as either the opposite of or by multiplying by negative 1. The x plus 2 is shown using algebra tiles. Now we're going to account for that negative. It really says the opposite of, so instead of being positive, these are both going to become negative. The answer is negative x minus 2. It changes the sign from what we started. Notice we had a positive x, it became a negative x. We had plus 2, and it became minus 2. Using the array method, we're going to put a 1 in front of the negative. Put -1 in front of the array and x plus 2 above it. Multiply to get -x. Multiply again to get -2. Both signs change from a positive x to a negative x, from a positive 2 to a negative 2. We get -x minus 2. One more time, let's use the arrows. We have -1x and -2. When we write our answer, we don't put the 1 in front of the x. It's understood to be there, but we don't write it. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. -1 times x is -1x, which is -x. -1 times 9 is -9. We could write it as plus negative or just write minus, which is the simplified answer. For this one, we have the opposite of x minus 2. The 2 is negative. To do the opposite of it, we're going to change the x from positive to negative and the 2 from negative to positive. So both terms inside the parentheses change signs. We went from a positive x to a negative x, from -2 to +2. Now let's try it with an array. Let's put a 1 in front of the parentheses. So we have -1 times x and -2. Multiply. -1 times x is going to give us -x. -1 times -2 is going to give us a positive 2. Both signs changed. We went from a positive x to a negative x, from -2 to +2. All you really have to do is change the sign of both terms inside the parentheses when you have a negative in front. That's all we're going to do on this one, -x plus 2. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. Really, all you have to do is change the signs from a positive x to a negative x, from minus to plus. In this example, we have -3 times the quantity x plus 5 minus 2y. The y is negative, so they're in red. First, we're going to multiply by 3. On the next slide, we're going to account for the negative. The negative says the opposite of, so everything that's positive is going to become negative, and then everything that's negative is going to become positive. Now we can visually see our answer. We have -3x minus 15 plus 6y. Now we need to write it in proper form by putting it alphabetical. We'll write -3x plus 6y minus 15. Each term keeps its sign. Now we're going to take -3 and put it in front of the array, x, 5, and -2y above the array. We're going to multiply each one of these. So -3 times x gives us -3x. -3 times 5 gives us -15. And -3 times -2y is going to give us a positive 6y. The answer is inside the array, but when we write it down, we're going to go ahead and put it in proper order. -3x plus 6y minus 15. Now let's use arrows. -3 times x is -3x. -3 times 5 is -15. -3 times -2y is going to give us a positive 6y. And we're going to put it in proper order. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. -6 times x is -6x. -6 times 1 is -6. -6 times -8y is positive 48y. Then we'll write them in proper order. Next, we're going to be looking at an area model. 2x times the quantity 4x plus 5y minus 8z. We're going to multiply the 2x times the 4x first. When you multiply an x times an x, you get an x squared. When you multiply 2x times 4x, it creates this rectangle of 8x squared. The next part we're going to multiply is the 2x times the 5y. And x times y gives us a rectangle xy. 2x times 5y creates a bigger rectangle that's 10xy. I'm going to draw that now. Z is not typically shown using algebra tiles. Algebra tiles represent area models. Area is length times width, so x times y. So for 2x times the quantity negative 8z, we're just going to multiply negative 16xz. Now let's put it all together. 2x times 4x gave us 8x squared. 2x times 5y gave us 10xy. And 2x times negative 8z gave us negative 16xz. We're going to remove the plus sign to simplify our problem. Now let's use the array method. Using the array method, we'll put the 2x in front, 4x above the first box, 5x above the middle box, and then we'll put a negative 8z above the last box. Let's go ahead and multiply. We do 2x times 4x, that gives us 8x squared. 2x times the 5y gives us 10xy. 2x times the negative 8z gives us negative 16xz. The answer is inside the array. We get 8x squared plus 10xy minus 16xz. Let's use this one more time with the distributive property and arrows. 2x times 4x is going to give us 8x squared. 2x times 5y gives us 10xy. 2x times negative 8z gives us negative 16xz. Now it's your turn. Please pause and try. Four x times 7x gives us 28x squared. 4x times 5y gives us positive 20xy. And 4x times negative 2z gives us negative 8xz. For this next example, we have to worry about our exponent rules, and it doesn't fit an area model, so we're just going to use an array. Put the 10x squared in front, 5x cubed above the first box, negative 9x above the middle box, and 4 above the last box. Then multiply. 10x squared times 5x cubed. When you do the 10 times 5, that gives you 50. X squared times x cubed, because they have the same base, we add their exponents. So that gives us an exponent of 5. Now multiply 10x squared times negative 9x. 10 times negative 9 gives us negative 90. X squared times x gives us x cubed. We had to add the exponents. Last, we're going to multiply 10x squared times 4. That gives us 40x squared. The answer is 50x to the 5th minus 90x cubed plus 40x squared. We're going to use the same problem and arrows this time. So 10x squared times 5x cubed gives us 50x to the fifth. 10x squared times negative 9x gives us negative 90x to the third, x cubed. 10x squared times 4 is going to give us 40x squared. Okay, please pause and try. 3x squared times 7x to the fourth gives us 21x to the sixth. Add the exponents. 3x squared times negative 4x gives us negative 12x cubed. 3x squared times 2 gives us 6x squared. In this next example, we have more variables. We'll put the 5x squared in front of the array, 8x squared above the first box, negative 7xy above the middle box, and 3z above the last box. Now let's multiply. 5 times 8 gives us 40. 8x squared times x squared gives us x to the fourth. 5 times negative 7 gives us negative 35. X squared times x gives us x cubed. Then bring the y in. Now 5 times 3 gives us 15. X squared z. The answer is in the array. 40x to the fourth minus 35x cubed y plus 15x squared z. Okay, let's go ahead and use arrows to do the same problem. We have 40x to the fourth minus 35x cubed y plus 15x squared z. Now it's your turn. Please pause the video and give this a try. We get 14x to the sixth negative 4x to the fourth y, and 20x cubed z. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.